All right, we back. Now, listen, I made this video and this video was already done. And then once the video was finished, I came across another video of the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso basically speaking on the Trump administration basically wanting Burkina Faso to accept deported illegal migrants into their country. Now, of course, President Captain Ibrahim Traore told Donald Trump, get the hell out of here. But I think it connects to my video about Oshay. So I want to start with that first, and then we can get into Oshay afterwards. So I'm going to play a clip from the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso speaking on the situation, and then we're going to get into the video for today.
It turns out that the note verbal that we received contains suggestions and refers to an agreement that the United States has tried to propose to the Burkinabe side since the Trump administration took office. As soon as this administration began, the embassy approached us to make this proposal as part of the implementation of the American immigration policy. What was the aim? It was to propose to African states that they wished to do so, since they were in the process of identifying and deporting nationals living in the United States who had not updated their residency documents, to deport them. The proposal that was made was to see if Burkina Faso, apart from our own nationals, was ready to receive other people who would be deported by the United States. Naturally, this proposal, which we considered indecent at the time, is totally contrary to the value of dignity that is part of the very essence of Captain Ibrahim Traore's vision. We said that Burkina Faso could not be this destination. After that, we had several meetings, always along the same lines, and we understood that he wanted us to be able to accept this measure. Following the adoption of the decree providing free visas, they returned to the fray to say, "We see that there is a Pan-African spirit, and since visas are free, are you prepared to receive non-Burkinabe nationals who would like to travel to Burkina Faso?" Our response was quite clear. Burkina Faso is a destination. Burkina Faso is not a country for deportation. And we made this clear by saying that Captain Ibrahim Traore's decision to offer hospitality to all Africans could not be equated with an opportunity for a third country to get rid of certain populations that country considers undesirable.
Yeah, we back. Now, today's going to be a quick video. We're going to be in and out. I want to address Oshay Duke Jackson and Ken Ganda about some recent videos he made addressed to Captain Ibrahim Traore regarding some citizenship for the diaspora. Now, Oshay in his video is saying that President Captain Ibrahim Traore is scamming Black Americans, right? That's what he said in the title of the video, right? He said President Ibrahim Traore is scamming, and he specifically mentioned Black Americans. And on top of that, as you can see, he has this imagery, right? This buffoonish, foolish imagery up on the screen of the captain, right? Like I said, the captain, you're lucky you're all the way in Uganda. You know what I'm saying? You're lucky you're all the way on the east coast of Africa, because, the captain, I'm sure, would have came and seen you about that. But that's besides the point. I just want to address the sensationalist garbage that he's putting out into the atmosphere, right? So Oshay dropped the video claiming that President Ibrahim Traore was offering citizenship to Black Americans specifically, right? That's what he said. He said President Ibrahim Traore announced citizenship for Black Americans. Now, I just want to say that never happened. I've never seen a press release. I've never seen a communique. I've never seen a statement, a decree ever from the government or from the captain himself saying that Black Americans specifically, I'm talking to you and I got citizenship for you. Come get the citizenship. Never seen it. Point me to the link, point me to the video where he said it, point me to the press release, the communique, show me where it happened. Never seen it happen a day in my life. So that's number one. Now, what did happen, apparently there was a third-party organization, right, that was headed by a lady named Dr. Arikana. She was the one who claimed that she could provide citizenship to whoever, right? The captain himself, never seen him say it. The government, never seen him come out and say, listen, Black Americans, this is the citizenship for you. Never seen it happen. But for whatever reason, I see Oshay on his YouTube, on his Ken Ganda YouTube channel, putting out these sensationalist titles. Now, when I go to the website of this third-party organization, I see them talking to the African diaspora, right? Not Black Americans specifically. I see them talking to the African diaspora. And that includes Bahamians, that includes Grenadians, that includes Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Haitians, Afro-Brazilians, etc., etc. But Oshay, because he's clout chasing, because he's a prostitute for the ad dollars, he's making it seem like this was something exclusive between the government of Burkina Faso and Blacks in America. That's not the case, right? That's sensationalist garbage. You're trying to get views and clicks and you're trying to drive engagement, which is sad. But I'll play along with you, right? I'll play along with you. Anyways, I'm going to get into some clips and I'm going to come in and out of my commentary.
Yes, it appears to be an elaborate scam by Dr. Arikana. However, those of us involved don't want this situation to fall negatively upon President Captain Ibrahim Traore. I gotta stop right there. You don't want it to fall negatively on him, but he is the de facto leader. That's leadership. You have to be accountable for everything that happens below, all right? Number one, the Burkina Faso government and ADDI probably came to some sort of agreement to give Black American citizenship in Burkina Faso. This is probably what happened, okay? Now, does that mean that Ibrahim Traore was behind it? No, okay? He probably didn't know or probably was not aware because he's too busy trying to run the country or protect his life because the man, from what I understand, has had over 18 attempts on his life, okay? So somebody in the Burkina Faso government promises something to Dr. Arikana. She believes it. Y'all pay for it. It comes out that they can't do it. They don't say nothing, and she don't say nothing. So let's get back to the point about protecting Ibrahim Traore. Number one, I don't know Ibrahim Traore. I don't care about Ibrahim Traore. It's not personal. I just don't know the guy and he don't know me.
Once again, when I go to this website, this ADDI website, which number one, don't go through a third-party organization to get anything done like citizenship or anything like that. Now, I'll talk about that more later, but that's red flag number one. Now, when I go to this website, I see them talking to the African diaspora. That's what I see, right? I don't see them saying that this is something exclusive to one ethnic group between the government. And number one, even if you wanted to do something, even if the government of Burkina Faso wanted to do something with blacks in America, you do know that they would have to go through official diplomatic channels like the U.S. State Department and Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, right? Do you think that the Burkina Faso government can cut side deals with American citizens outside of the knowledge of the United States government? Like I said, man, sensationalist garbage, brother. Sensationalist garbage. You know what I mean? Learn some basic diplomacy and international relations. Now, like I said, when you go to this website of this third-party organization, it says ADDI extends an invitation to all the African diaspora, right? How did all the African diaspora get minimized to, oh, it was Black Americans he was talking to? And that's why I say sensationalist garbage. Now, I've heard of this ADDI, this organization, but I never really looked into it because, like I said, I only go about what is stated by the official statements, press releases, and communiques by the government itself, right? If the government didn't say it, if it's not coming from the official, government foreign ministry, I'm not really paying attention to it, to be honest with you. And like I said, I've never seen the official government foreign ministry of Burkina Faso ever make such a statement that Oshay is a legend that he made. Now, like I said, what I have seen is, for example, take a look up on the screen. I've seen them scrap visa fees for travelers from the continent and the diaspora. I've seen that. That was an official statement, an official press release communique published in the international media that came straight from the government. I cannot find any articles, statements, press releases, communiques where they're saying, listen, I got citizenship for Black Americans. President Traore said it. Never seen it. Point me to the link of the video. Point me to the news press release, the article, whatever. Never seen it, right? And Oshay knows this, but because he wants to push a certain narrative, because he knows what's going to drive the clicks and the views, right? He's trying to cash in on that animosity towards the continent, right? He's trying to cash in on the anti-African sentiment by trying to frame the situation in a certain way. But no, that's not the case. From what I can tell, this seems to be a third-party organization that is claiming to offer a pathway to citizenship. It kind of reminds me of, for example, back when the Biden administration was offering a TPS, temporary protected status, to certain groups, right? There were a lot of people who had third-party organizations that were like, listen, pay me a fee, and then we could make it happen. I could get you over to the United States, things like that. But then what happened? Trump came into office and pulled the plug on that. Right. And a lot of people were asked out because they probably paid money to a third party organization so they could get into, the United States and temporary protected status or asylum or whatever. And then Trump pulled the plug on it. And a lot of people were simply out of money. Right. But nobody said, oh, Donald Trump scammed me. Trump scammed me. Donald Trump is a scammer. No. Nobody said that. They said the third-party organizations were scamming. The third-party organizations were held accountable, but nobody said the government of the United States scammed me. The government of the United States was offering me TPS. They were offering TPS, extending TPS, and then they pulled the plug on it and they canceled it. They scammed me. Donald Trump scammed me. No. But a lot of people were running those TPS scams, right? Oh, I could get you into the country. I could do this and that. But it was all a scam. It was all a grift. But the blame for that does not go to the United States government. That goes to the third party organization that was running the scheme. And that's my problem with Oshay. Oshay, when you go to his video and his title and his thumbnail, he's making it seem like President Ibrahim Traore was in a presidential palace trying to concoct ways to scam the African diaspora. Not even the African diaspora, but scam blacks in America specifically. And that was never the case. Like I said, when you go to the website, it's addressed to the African diaspora in its entirety. Now, the way Oshay is reporting it kind of reminds me on how the mainstream media, the Western media, was reporting on the so-called the LGBT law in Burkina Faso, right? Now, most nations on the continent and most black nations in general do not, get down with the whole LGBT lifestyle in the first place. Now, this was proposed by some minister in the government. It wasn't even proposed by the captain. And then it was voted on by the parliament. But in the Western media and the international media, they framed the narrative as if the captain woke up on a random Tuesday and just made a decree and signed it into law, right? No, it was proposed by some minister in the government, some lawyer, and in the parliament then voted to whether to pass it or not to pass it. But in the Western media, they made it seem like President Captain Ibrahim Traore, they made it seem like he's the one who proposed the law and he signed it into law without consulting with anybody, when in reality, he didn't have anything to do with it. He has a council of ministers, he has a parliament, and they also hold influence on how things are governed in the country. But of course, they want to make it seem like it's the captain who did it. The captain did it. And I see Oshay doing something very similar. To me, it seems like a third-party organization that was offering whatever they were offering, and then now the accountability falls on the back of the captain. Well, like I said, similar things were happening with the whole TPS thing, and you had third-party organizations offering a fast track to the United States and TPS and temporary asylum, and then once the Trump administration pulled the plug on that, everybody was asked out. But nobody said that the Trump administration was scamming me and the United States scammed me and things like that. No, you went through a third-party organization, and that was that. You should have went through the official channels, the official diplomatic channels to get things done. Now, if you want my honest opinion, should Captain Ibrahim Traore just open the floodgates for everybody to just bulldoze into his country and give everybody citizenship like candy? No, I don't think so. I don't think right now, especially with so much anti-African sentiment in the air, I don't think that you should just open the door to everybody black. I don't think so. I don't think that you should open the door to the diaspora without heavy vetting for everybody that comes through. I'll be honest with you. Maybe if it was like 10 years ago, back in 2013, 2014, back during that time. But right now, it's way too much anti-African sentiment to just be opening the door to let anybody come into your country. And that's not only Burkina Faso. That goes for all African countries, right? That goes for all African countries. It's a lot of anti-African sentiment in the air. And I think the captain knows that because he's tapped into what's going on. He's tapped into the streets. So he knows it's a lot of anti-African sentiment in the diaspora. And I think that it's wise of him not to just open the floodgates, right? Because on the surface, how can you tell who got love for the continent and who has negative sentiments towards the continent? How can you tell, right? And as we can see, the French government, they have a bunch of their intelligence agents currently locked up in Africa right now, right? A bunch of white men. So eventually they might start switching up the scheme. They might say, listen, we got to start sending blacks into the continent as espionage agents, right? As intelligence agents, because the white men keep getting locked up. So if you ask me, like I said, I think that the captain is wise for, like I said, vetting who comes into his country. Even with the visa-free thing, might be a threat to national security because, like I said, anybody black, you don't know what sentiments they hold. You don't know what loyalties they hold. You don't know if they really down for, African unity and things like that. There are those who are not. There are those who are completely against African unity. There are blacks who are against unity, right? So if there are blacks who are against unity, then it would be wise as a head of state to heavily vet everybody coming into your country, whether they're black or white, whatever, you have to vet. And when I went into the comment section of Oshay's videos, I seen a lot of black faces talking down on the captain. I seen a lot of black faces talking down on Africa. So like I said, the captain is wise not to just open the floodgates to everybody black, because everybody black ain't coming with positive energy. Everybody black ain't coming with love and camaraderie. And that goes for every nation on the continent. I don't believe that you should just open the floodgates and give out citizenship like candy to everybody black. No. There are blacks in the CIA. There are blacks in the DGSE. There are blacks in the MI6. And I'm sure President Ibrahim Traore, he knows that. Now, when it comes to ADDI, that third-party organization, like I said, to me, don't go through any third-party organizations to get anything done with a foreign government. If you want to get anything done, you have to go through official diplomatic channels. And Oshay, stop trying to frame the narrative as if it's President Ibrahim Traore was trying to do something malicious to black Americans specifically. When you go to the so-called ADDI website, it's targeted towards the African diaspora in its entirety, right? Not just one group, not just one country. And even if they did want to do something with blacks in America, like I said, they would have to go through the U.S. State Department, official official diplomatic channels, they would have to consult with Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. And he would then consult with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump would then consult with his ministers and his cabinet, whatever, right? That's how things go when it comes to international relations, when it comes to, conducting international business, when it comes to engaging in diplomacy. So once again, no, Oshay, stop trying to frame the narrative as if the captain himself made a statement offering anything to blacks in America, and then he decided to scam or run off with the money. Why would he need to run off with the money? Why would he need to do some petty scam like that? That's one of the biggest gold producing nations on the continent and in the world. He could just go to one of his hundreds of gold mines and get the revenue straight from the gold mine. Why would he need a scam for thousands when he's sitting on billions upon billions upon billions upon billions? What the fuck is you talking about? Now, if you want to say ADDI was running a scam, listen, that's a different conversation. Talk to ADDI. Talk to the organizers at ADDI. I don't know what they got going on, but don't try to put that on the back of the captain. The captain got bigger things to worry about. The captain got bigger things on his plate, right? Why would he need a scam for thousands when a single drone in his Air Force costs multiple millions? Like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Why would he need a scam for thousands when his economy is on an upward trajectory? You acting like he hurting for money, man. Listen. Oshay, I'm sorry. The captain is not like you, right? The captain is actually, handling, big coffers, big money, right? He's not like you up in Uganda making videos for the ad dollars. Listen, Oshay, the captain has been in office since 2022, and the price of gold has shot up over 100% since 2022. He is not hurting for money. He could just sit around and do nothing, and the price of gold is going to accumulate and augment and continue to increase, and he could just take the profits off the gold. He don't got to scam for thousands when he's generating millions upon billions just watching the price of gold increase every single day. Now, like I said, if you want to take your grievances up with that so-called third-party organization called ADDI, that's a different conversation, right? Go talk to ADDI. But when you're talking about the captain did this and the captain did that, and you don't have no proof of your allegations, you can't even provide me a statement or an article or a press release or a communique from the government where they actually said or offered what you said they were offering. Nah, brother. And then when I go to ADDI website, I see they're talking to the entire African diaspora, but then you go on YouTube and say they're only talking to black Americans. Bro, you're a sensationalist, clout chasing goofy, right? It's a different level, right? You're a clout chasing grifter on YouTube, and President Captain Ibrahim Traore is the head of state commanding militaries and governing over resources and territory. It's a different thing. It's a different playing field. It's totally different. So I just wanted to address this. I wasn't going to address it, but I'm going to address it. You know what I mean? And then we're going to get back to our regular scheduled programming. You know what I mean? We got to go, definitely got to go talk about the culture. Welcome to the culture, man. But anyways, see what never card that's Celine back in the Billy. Yes, indeed. Cash App in the description. Second single of the next project, The Spy in Bamako. Pin comment at the top. Link in the description. Subscribe to the Patreon, NTD1814, and I'm gone. Peace.
Feel like you see me, I feel like I'm Saudi or ran up on Yan in the middle of Bamako. Enemy line, they claiming he innocent. Don't do no talking, I gotta move militant. Don't do no talking, I hit him with facts. 1804, bringing it back. 1804 like I'm Mother Cap Henry. King with the vision, the crown never empty. Top of the mountain, my soldiers defend me. Ducking and dodging the foreign intelligence. Hitting my dance on the DGSE. Dodging they traps, still on my feet. Feeling impeccable, feel like I'm shining. Go to my neck and I'm flooded with diamonds. Go to my neck and I feel like a mess. Feel like a lion, I'm in a savannah. Feel like the king when I'm up in the jungle. Never defeated, I never been humble. Come out victorious every encounter. Money machine give me help when I count it. Money machine stack it up in a beat. Heart of a king and I ride for the team. Weight of the world got it stuck on my shoulders. Bet you can feel it, my heart getting colder. Yeah, gotta stay focused so when it's in shots I gotta react. Cause I'm a target, I'm under attack. Grabbing a weapon, I tell him get back. Mission exposed, secrets unfold. Enemy try but I'm still in control. Got your boy sitting in Bamako prison. Hoping they wish we sending them home. Enemy know that we good under pressure. Been through the thunderous turbulent storm. Shorty a diamond, I told her she precious. Hop in a whip and I'm taking her home. Hop in a whip and I'm swerving, I'm smashed. Killing my enemies, one of my passion. Rocking this gold like we in bikini. Feel like the captain, I'm clutching a heater. Yeah, gotta stay focused so when it's in shots I gotta react. Cause I'm a target, I'm under attack. Grabbing a weapon, I tell her get back. Mission exposed, secrets unfold. Enemy try but I'm still in control. Got your boy sitting in Bamako prison. Hoping they wish we sending them home. Enemy know that we good under pressure. Been through the thunderous turbulent storm. Shorty a diamond, I told her she precious. Hop in a whip and I'm taking her home. Hop in a whip and I'm swerving, I'm smashed. Killing my enemies, one of my passion. Rocking this gold like we in bikini. Feel like the captain, I'm clutching a heater.